So once you download this thing, right, it looks like this, right? You see, let me bring it over here. All right, so you see all these company name, symbol, and then this is fiscal year end. What is the month? Fiscal year December based, and fiscal year over here, and then the annual frequency, you can check it. And this is, all these items are in Korean language. Yeah, why is it not in English? I know somebody has to translate it. What is globalization about? They don't do it. Total assets and revenues and R&Ds, and then the R&Ds in the notes sections, right? You can check out those. By the way, over here, right? Yeah. And then, by the way, so that's that. Once Samsung Electronics is finished, right? 2000 until 20, because it's 2021. Of course, the fiscal year ended for 2020 only. 2021 is just ongoing, so it's not going to, be useful over here. And I will just usually delete it, right, later on. But anyway, the next one is Hynix, and then if you scroll down, you see Naver, market cap wise number 3 company, and then Samsung Biologics, the next one, and things like that. Why do we have blank? Because it is starting from 1981. I just said to the machine, right? So that's why. So how do you package this thing or make it importable for our usage, right? The way I usually do it is first of all, change the variable names into something English based one, understandable. I say this is AT, so total assets. You were gonna see especially capital letters, right? AT asset total. Why do I say AT instead of TA? You will see it later in my in the words database, just to make it synchronized, right? There in words data, asset total is used, AT. Revenue total, that's REVT. Okay, revenue total. R&D, XR&D, right? Expense of R&D. What the heck is that? A sector, FN industry, right? Industry code. And then this one, R&D, R total RD. Okay. And then I would say RD what? Total. And RD, what is it? Capitalized. RD expensed, right? So all these things, and then select these rows, and delete it. Right click and delete. What you need is the first column being the variable names like this. Stock symbol, name, FYR, fiscal year end, month information, and then F year, and then frequency like this. So this is typically the way I do it. And then what do I do? Well, if you scroll down just for the heck of it, you're gonna see that you see all the company's information is downloaded for specific items that I chose, right? Now, for this one, I would save it as in my drive, whatever that you specify, and then my teaching, and then maybe I would just download it as a what is it? KRX data guide sample, right? And then the date information, today's date 09/10/21, and just make it as a habit to place the date, month, day, year format in the name of the file. Okay, why? Because this date information becomes very handy. A year later or a couple of years later, sometimes you want to check. Oh, on that day I downloaded certain data, and then here where did I place it? Okay, so for that purpose, if you have this date information, it's going to be more convenient for you to check it. Of course, data guide you're going to download no matter what, so you don't need this kind of things. But as you play with the data, and then how do you say, modify, and then do some calculations and the programmings and all these kind of things. Afterwards, if you want to save the data, when you save the data, this kind of naming becomes very important for you, okay, to facilitate your data work. So make it your habit to place the date in each file that you save. Okay, don't just save Andy Kim or test everything. Come on, right? So it seems like very trivial thing, but it makes a huge difference as you accumulate your experience in research later on. So that's accounting data. And then for stock price data, how do you do it? Well, click another tab in this, and then for the same company, I would like to remove everything. These items removed, and then I want to go for calendar, and then drop down and specify the period like this. No. By years, just click it, or this is the only way it seems like. So go down to 1980, and then this January, like this, the 1st, January 1st up until now, right? 다 털어와. It's like it gets like every kind of all the data from the database. You paid, with your tuition, so why don't you just get the everything, right? And then currency, Korean won, and then this is important. When there's no the trading holidays, 비영업일, what would you do? Right now, the default says like get down the previous day's numbers, which is terrible. Terrible choice over here. This says for they will specify Samsung Electronics January 1st all the way down to January 1st of 1980 up until today, every single day, regardless of trading day or holidays. The days will be there. The holidays, for example, the holidays, or let's say this is Sunday, the Sunday stock price. Come on, no stock price, right? Because the trading day it's not a trading day, so it has to be skipped somehow. But this specification tells, Fridays, the previous Fridays, end of the day trading price will be there for you, which I hated. So exclude it. That's it. Then other choices, NA or null, it just bothers you. You're crazy. So exclude those things. Okay, this is it. And then the unit, just the default is Korean won. But you can choose to do it like 1,001 or something, but just use it as default 1. Okay. 자료 주기, the data frequency, daily, weekly, and then monthly and quarterly and yearly. You can choose it. Let's do it daily. Okay. Now here, once you chose it, what do you do? Go to not the 재무, or inside the 재무 you go to come on. The 재무 is a finance and 주식 is a stock. I think this is rather 재무 is more accounting, and then 주식 is more like finance, right? They're sloppy. Price and return, right? Price and return, and then trading volume is here. And then what is great about Korean data is that you have the trading volume by different kind of investors, like individual investors, right, versus institutional investors versus foreign investors. kind of things, right? So you can download those things here at 투자자별 매매 or over here. And then price and returns, yes, here you need an adjusted stock price and return. And then that adjustment should be including those dividends, right? 수정주가, 변동성 종가. Yeah, 수정주가. I told you before, there are a lot of unnecessary items that you don't need to bother. They try to show you like all different kinds of unnecessary stuff. But what you need over here is like a 수정주가, 수정종가, 수정주가. This one. So adjusted price reflecting those dividends, the cash dividends over here. All right. Don't bother any other things, right? And then the returns, right? Yes, reflecting those dividend. All right. And then 변동성, all these kind of things. Don't bother to download it. Calculate it yourself, okay? Don't trust them. I don't trust them. Okay? Don't use it. And then what else? Yeah. And then trading volume. Why do we need a trading, what is it? Average trading volume or whatever. You take your average yourself instead of depending on these guys. You don't know what the heck they were doing, right? So they claim something and they may do something else. So I don't trust them. Just do it yourself. That's it. Okay? And then 시가총액. Right. So number of shares outstanding, right? And then 시가총액. So market cap, the second item, because it does not include the number of shares yet to be listed, yet to be launched, or yet to be listed in the or traded in the market or floated in the market. So not a float, but 상장 예상, planned to be launching in the market. So you want to exclude those things. So that's why I chose this one. And then foreigners ownership, you can choose it and things like that, right? Play with it yourself. And then 투자자별 매매, so institutional investors, total, and then you see all different kinds of investors, 9 different kinds. You will see it. You can download those things, and you go down to pension fund or whatever. You can see it. And then you see individual behavioral finance purpose. This is very, very important, right? Quantity traded by the individual investors. And then maybe foreigners, right? Foreigners. 매수 수량. Oh, come on. Yeah. So it's like a buying volume and selling volume. So I should have downloaded 매도 수량. So 매수 is like buying volume. 매도 수량 is like a selling volume by the institution. And I need to download also the 매도 수량, so of the individual investors, right? 매도 수량, yeah. And then foreigners, yeah. 매수 수량, yeah, come on. 외국인계, 매도 수량. So that's sales by foreign investors total. Okay? So these are it in calendar format, and then submitted, and then column 개수 maximum excess. Too many columns? What? Okay, it happens. So ASCII row set. This one, I think, column set versus row set, you have to specify how would you like to proceed. I think it has to be row set like this. Let's do, yes, row set instead of column set. How it goes, you see column-wise going to the, day by day by day by day, and then different companies going to the row. Anyway, so once you download it, and then you can play with that by transposing it. So that's basically it. You can choose to go the other way around, maybe explore yourself, right? I don't like this kind of format, I told you before. I will come back for words, data, how to manage those things. So see you down there. Thank you. I'm still waiting until the downloading is finished for this KRX data in a data guide. Notice that it takes a huge amount of time. It's a huge size, but in the meantime, I moved down to words, right? There, WRDS, you can just type in these things, and your ID should be the ID of your SKKU ID, SKKU without at skku.edu, right? The things before that. And then you have to log in with your password. Otherwise, you will have to go to the support and then ask for the permission, okay, for your school. All right. And some of you wonder that your school does not subscribe to this one. I'm sorry about that, but to the extent that I will ask questions for your homework or tests, I will download the things for you over here so that you don't have to worry about it. I will download it and share it on the Google Drive. All right. And for you, any of you who are interested in it, yes, here we see the data that you can SKKU subscribes, and there are get data. The things that we are interested in are two things: Compustat and CRSP. Okay, so let's go to the Compustat. This is about the the accounting data. Compustat North America. Okay, if SKKU or your school subscribes any of these data, you will see that it is activated. The button is activated. If the school does not subscribe, it's inactive, like this. The school has to pay huge amount of money to subscribe all these things, right? But SKKU subscribe to North America Compustat and Compustat North America. And then you see Compustat Global. This is international data. You can explore later on your own. And ExecuComp, that's US CEOs, corporate governance data, which is how much the CEO gets paid. Okay, incentive kind of things, stock options, and then ownership, and then not just the CEO, but the top 5 paid executives in each of the companies. Each of the companies that has been in 1,500 largest US stocks, okay, 1,500, 1,500 US stocks since 1992. So many companies are there, so you can study that. And then North America, this is Compustat accounting data. So what you need is fundamentals annual, and there are a lot of other data sets you can check out. The fundamentals annual, typically this is it. And then there, let's go through. You see, this is a web-based query form. You click, choose whatever, and then as a whole, you just download with certain format. Okay, that's web query-based system. And then variable descriptions, definitions of each variable, you can see it. What does it mean? State, yeah, state and province, and all these kind of things. A to Z, you will see the variables in the data set. Manuals and overviews, whenever you're not sure, you can come to here and download, study this part to familiarize yourself with the variable names. Knowledge base, I don't know. Data dictionary, I don't know, which means I never used these two. Okay, you can explore merge the fundamental file. Go ahead and figure out what these are. I'm not going to ask you during this exams or anything. Okay, the data variable, first step, choose your date range. Yes, data date, just leave it as it is. Fiscal year, you can do that, but data date gives you the precise calendar date when your fiscal year ends. December 31st, for example, of each and every year. For each accounting statement, right, for fiscal year, you will see the data date figure for your companies. And then, since when would you like to download it? As much as possible. Yeah. If you look at it, it comes from the earliest you can go is June 1950. Okay, 6.25 전쟁. It's like Korean War time. Okay, and then until when? Yeah, the most recent one, just leave it as it is. And then, here's an important thing. Company ID, your company code, GB key is the one. Alright? QSIP is another company code, but it changes. GB key is the unique ID in the Compustat. This thing will bother you like crazy in your US data study. Because stock data in CRSP stock data, the ID is not GB key, but something called permanent company number, PermCo. They don't have GB key. And here in accounting data, the GB key is here, but there's no PermCo, permanent company number. But fortunately, there is something called QSIP, which is time varying, changing over time and recycled for different companies and in the history. QSIP is there so that you can match GB key and QSIP over here, and then you can match QSIP and perm company number, PermCo, in you will see later in stock data, so that you can merge it. You will have to worry about merging these two data. But for that merging purpose, you need GB key over here first, and then you will have to download QSIP later on. Wait a minute, and then company ID, GB key standard, yes, and then select entire database, right? You don't need just one or two companies accounting data, right? The entire data, just throw everything, like just bring in everything over here. And then over here you choose the variable name, variables to download. How many variables? You see 974 different variables available. The columns they can go for each different company for each different years. All right. So you see the scale, right? How many different columns, right? Variables you can go. So here, what do I want to download? Okay. GB key, company name, ticker symbol, that's stock ticker, right? 종목 code, and QSIP included. And the CIK, of course, yes, let's do it. Stock exchange, it is traded. Fiscal year, yes, go ahead. And then the subsequently address numbers, I don't need those. Legal name, maybe I will need it. Yeah, anything that you think you will need it, just click it and download later. Identification number kind of things, you may need it. Yeah, let's just try it. And then the sector number for this part, industry code, you may need it, but usually industry code you go for SIC code, so or a NAICS code, this one, North America Industry Classification Code, or SIC code will be there for you. Here you are, yes. And then you will scroll down and then find out some necessary data with you. As I said before, AT, asset total, you can punch in and then check out if you have that variable. So as you select those variables, you see those things are stacked up over here. And then CEQ is a shareholders equity, right? So that's this guy. And then TLT, long-term debt total, DLC, debt in current liabilities, right? Those are funded debt kind of things, right? XRD, shall I try it? R&D, yes, this one. Everything is expensed, you know, in R&D expenses in the US, right? So just XRD will be good enough. You can use this function, search function, so you can narrow down to a certain variables every year, right? Then what? Well, you selected these variables to download, and you can explore more yourself. And then what do? Well, you want to download it, but in what format? Well, format, let's say CSV. You can choose other formats like text and then HTML or SAS. For SAS, 32-bit system or 64-bit system or Stata. Yeah. And you can choose to download it with compression or not, but I rarely go there. Date format, I go for MMDDYY, which is American style, right? Month, day, year. And then submit this form. And then it will be submitted. The query is here. So what? Well, you have to open it in a, wait. All right. So it leads you to the query, and it shows the query number to check, you know, when it is finished, and then should let you know when it will be ready for download. Okay, that's accounting data part. Now, what about stock market data? Well, go to get data. And then CRSP, third-party products, CRSP, stock files, yes, daily stock file, let's go, or you can choose monthly stock files, because the data size is huge over there, whereas smaller over here. I just go for monthly stock files over here for demonstration purpose. And then here, permanent company number is here. Okay, permanent number is also there. This is for company, this is for stocks. What do you mean? Isn't the same company, same stock anyway? No. Preferred stock, common stock. Samsung Electronics common stock, Samsung Electronics preferred stock. Those two are two different stocks, two different securities. So if that kind of situation happens, then permanent number will be different, right? And then, but the permanent company number will be the same, identical. So that is a problem. But company code, let's say POMCO, and then search entire database, and then from when, go to the most, the longest distance. Wait, it's the earliest possible. The activated one is 1925 January. Before the depression, Great Depression. Okay, now go down here in CRSP, Center for Security Research or something, and you don't have that many variables, 62 variables over here compared to Compustat where you had 974. So here, what do you want to download? Well, QSIP, for the sake of merging with the data, the Compustat data. And then company name, maybe not needed that much, but and what is that? NQSIP, let's also download it because it may be more helpful for searching and matching purposes. Which variable will be better? I have to brush up my memory. But either of these two will be just good. Ticker symbol, maybe. Company number, POMCO, as well as a share code. Yeah. Share class, this is about A class and B class, C class, D class shares with different number of voting rights or something like that. We don't need it for now. You may need it depending on your research purpose. SIC code, you may need it later, but I don't know. Let's just do that's it. And then NICE code and things like that, you can try that if you're interested. But what is needed is price. And then price alternate is also there sometimes if the stock is not traded, so that you don't have the price data on that day or month, then alternative numbers are given over there, like I don't know, something like a bid-ask price, those average of these two, okay, and that kind of things may be available there. And then I rarely use that, but just let's go for that. You see bid, ask, or high, but we don't need it right now. Closing. Share volume, yes. And then what is most important is the holding period return. A holding period return. And then forget about something called the without dividend. No, we don't need that one. And then shares, what is that? Numbers of shares outstanding. Yes, shares outstanding. This is needed to calculate the market cap, right? 시가총액. You multiply this guy by the price per share, PRC, then that's going to be your market value of equity. And then sometimes you may need some delisting code. Sometimes the stock is taken out of the market and then the return disappears. And you will have to replace the return for those kind of delisted stocks. But that's for very detailed situation. I'm not going to ask you during the exam or anything. Delisting price or delisting return will be needed in if you want to take care of this kind of delisting situation. So that's that. Another thing that you want to download is the value weighted return. And equal weighted return. Value weighted including dividend distribution, and then equal weighted dividend distribution. What is it? These are the average return of all the stocks in CRSP database, which is the universe, all the stocks in the United States every month. And then you want to include the S&P 500 index return. By the way, CRSP in the CRSP return, value weighted is like based on the market value of each and every stock, value weighted average. Whereas this one is more equal weighted. It is equal weighted so that the small cap effect is bigger for this equally weighted ones. Okay, so you need both of them. Anyway, so those are it. How many variables? 19 variables I download. Okay, and then specify the data format, CSV, MMDDYY, and then submit the form. The query is going on. You remember the Compustat query is going on, but it's okay. Just click it, and it shows me different query number. Query number before it says success. So the Compustat data that I requested before is now ready to be downloaded. So where? Output file is over here. The data size is 91 megabytes. So output file is over here, the URL. So what do? The Compustat data, I want to download it. Right click it and then download it with different names. Yes. To wherever you want. So download, yes, over there. And then let me see, Compustat. And the date figure. Today is what? 09, like this. Okay. And then for the query that I requested over here, I'll just open it open it in a different window, and then CRSP query is done already. What's the size of this file? You see 698 megabytes. Notice that this is way bigger than the accounting data because I requested a lot of different variables. So let's save it in the folder, download folder. I would say CRSP monthly and today's date, like this. Okay, so that's that. Now what? Take it out, and then it's if you go to CRSP daily, right? CRSP daily. If you try to download that kind of things, the size will be a lot bigger. You just try to download the simplest one, the only one variable, like return or price, right? Every day, ever since 1925, right? The data size will be like 7 gigabytes or something like that. So you'll have to expect a huge size of data. Make enough of space in your hard drive. Okay, the data is there for you. Go ahead and explore. Okay, and having come to these data sets, databases in the words, let's go through a little more of what we subscribe. Yeah. There, you can explore to, what is it? Compustat. I don't know, if you're interested in corporate governance, that kind of things, annual compensation, CEO pay and CFO pays, all these kind of things, you can explore it over here. A lot of different variables, year by year, you can collect and then see surprising things. Oh, millions of dollars they get. Yeah, you can, hack it, raise up your ambition over there. Director compensation, how much do they get paid? All these kind of things you can explore. And all these kind of incentives actually affect your corporate financial decision making. So this is a huge subject of area in corporate finance research. And then capital structure research, like a debt or equity ratio kind of things, or cash management, or what is it? Investment decisions within the companies, like that. You can download those things and then explore. And then that's this Capital IQ. This is more about the private companies, but I remember we don't subscribe to this because this is extremely expensive data, but somehow it is activated. What the hell is going on? I don't know. You can explore some of these and see what they are. Capital structure, debt or equity kind of things. I don't know. SNL, I don't know what the heck this is. Saturday Night Live. Sorry, you don't even have bank regulatory data. We don't subscribe it. Fine. And then audit analytics. That's accounting related data, right? Audit fees, right? If you're interested in accounting research about how much do company have to pay for this audit fees to their CPAs, right? Then you can explore all these kind of things and check out, and then study yourself, right? Using those big data. Accounting restatements. If there was some cosmetic accounting and then police caught these guys, then these data will tell you about those troubled companies, right? So very interesting data is there for you. What else? IBES. This is stock analyst related data. Earnings announcement and earnings surprise. Okay, is here every quarter. You see IBES academic and IBES corporate, which means cheaper version, expensive version for hedge fund, right? Like this. And then these are what we subscribe, and then summary history is what you may need. Earnings announcement date, right? Earnings announcement date, and then price changes or the EPS, right? EPS figure that analysts anticipate about your company, their consensus EPS expectation versus actual announcement, right? Was their earnings surprise, a positive surprise or negative surprise, all these kind of things you can construct using these variables. Actual announcement of quarterly earnings announcement, entire database, of course, come on. And then EPS is just good enough, and then actual announcement, and choose your variables over here and download it and merge it with those stock price data or Compustat data, depending on your research needs. Okay, so those data are there for you, entire database. Just take it. You paid your tuition, you have the right to download all these things and enjoy. I don't know, that it depends on the definition of enjoyment, but to the extent that you're a data guy, this is your playground. Okay, price target or company level footnote, all these kind of things. Revisions or summary statistics. Yeah, analysts' average expectation, market consensus, all these kind of things about your company's EPS. You can download those things. International, okay, both. Yeah, you can choose it and go ahead and download and play with it. Okay. Whenever you are not sure about what the heck this is, right, you have to go to the what is it? The manual. The manuals and overviews gives you the variable definition, what this database is like, and go ahead and explore. It's for you. Have fun. And words product. Not only that, European short data. Oh my God, what is that? What is it? After the previous global financial crisis, to increase market transparency, this data encompasses all significant short positions. Ooh. Reported by institutional investors under European rule. Okay. Coverage: Austria, Belgium, Czech, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, and all these countries. So short data. Do we really subscribe this? Interesting. So you can download those things, explore yourself, right? Explore yourself and enjoy it. Short position, 공매도 position. Interesting. European stock data is needed, right? You can explore in the CRSP and Compustat. Compustat Global may give you some idea. Or Bloomberg, you can do it, but Bloomberg, there's no function that you download the entire database in the Bloomberg. In the Bloomberg, you can only download one company by one company. Good luck. Tens of thousands of company, you have to do it like a slave. Crazy. But here, you can just download it, the whole thing, right? Why bother Bloomberg? That's this. Other things, go ahead and explore. There are some manuals or some tutorials about this, classrooms like this, accounting or intro, get started, whatever it may be. There are some videos related to it, and then getting started. What data is words, finding data, and things like that. Some Chinese explanations are there. Okay, so go ahead and enjoy it. Other things, that's it. So I hope you liked it, and then over the weekend or whatever, throughout the semester, I hope you utilize this data, and I hope you entirely download the whole data that SKKU subscribe and to your C drive or whatever. We purchased it for you with your tuition. Again, download it and enjoy yourself. Okay? Explore it. The world is your oyster. It's here for you. Why don't you utilize and then learn from it? Okay? Have some questions as you go down the road. Ask me. I will try my best to answer your question. I don't know. I can't guarantee if I could answer questions. If you question any detailed question in there, probably I will tell you to go ahead and explore the data manual. But we can, challenge together maybe. So ask me. That's it. Thanks for watching and see you. Oh, do I? Is it finished? So let me see. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it is done. It is done. Korean data, right? All this kind of thing is done. Let me see how it looks like. The stock price data, 삼성전자, right? Samsung Electronics. The date figure goes from 1980 over here to, if you scroll to the right, the most recent date. Thank God the Excel incorporates a large amount of columns available. But if these date numbers exceed the allowance for the Excel, we'll be in trouble. I don't like this format. Again, you'll have to do it in a row-wise somehow. So that's that. All different stocks in Korea, right? You can go ahead and explore. Can anybody translate this one into English? Company name? I don't know. So that's that. All right. The variable names and things like that. I'll try my best to the extent of a homework or a class discussion. I will change it into English. But your teamwork, team project, you will have to find a way to standardize your way of translating it. Okay? Yeah, that's it. So, thanks for watching.